Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Auzom Lobby 1. We are about good to go, as you can see on your screen, just a 40-second countdown. I'm Lee D-Man Smith, and I'm bringing you, obviously, the Auzom action alongside Cameron, who has had a fruitful trip to Kiev, I think it's safe to say, and brought back all the goods that Kiev has to offer, along with probably the flu and colds, which everyone seems to have caught.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm pretty recovered right now, so it should be good to go for today.
Now, Skyline's going to be bringing you all the camera work, so feel free to give him some love on Twitter, etc. So he's going to be involved today. So let's talk PUBG, because, man, there has been a lot happened over the last sort of 2-3 weeks. We, of course, do have the big favourites in here, FaZe Clan, who have been not only dominated StarLadder, dominated the last 2 days in GLL, so they are coming into this red hot right now, Cameron. Obviously, you were there in StarLadder to see how it's worked. It seems that these guys have not only benefited from picking up their very first offline win at Katowice to going on and absolutely smashing it in Kiev.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big things is just seeing how they played over the course of 20 games. Ever since FaZe and old Gorilla Core kind of took over as one of the best teams in the world, one of the better teams in Europe, they've been lauded all the time for consistency. Even if they didn't win the game, they would always be in top 5 position. And in the best of 20 series that we saw in Kiev, that was one of the big reasons that we saw them take it home, because they didn't get the most number of wins. That obviously goes to Liquid, but they were always up there at the top, and that's why they won with a pretty big margin because of it.
Apparently Cameron is muted. Cameron was muted. Sorry, Cameron. I had you muted at the start there. He just gave a brilliant spiel, an absolute brilliant spiel about FaZe Clan and everything, and I had him muted the whole damn time. And I've got Skyline muted as well, which is brilliant. So what a cracking start. What a cracking start. Thank you, Kevin, for catching me up on that one quick. That's why we have no delay for you, that is. But what we were saying is just basically how good FaZe have been over the last couple of days, weeks. And I saw a couple of people tweeting this like, oh my god, Gorilla Core returning. But conversely, while we can blow wind up their ass, we have had problems. I guess Method, they've had, 2 changes? The Energetic Turtle and Leighton obviously going off to his job. I don't know what's happened with Energetic Turtle. But either way, we've got Chris playing in there and Stab coming over from Lumbermill.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for this new roster. Method was always a team that looked like they had it, kind of, but they just weren't able to kind of put it together. They weren't able to be that consistent roster that you kind of have to be to have a successful roster in Battlegrounds. And so I'm hoping that this new collective can finally bring that extra something to the roster. The big thing that I really hope that Method have, though, is someone who can really focus on the shot calling, because I feel like that's been the major thing about a major downside to them, because when they get into the late game with all 4 alive, I know this isn't very unique to Method specifically, but they are able to take over the game. They have one of the best fraggers in the game in Andy Pyro. I don't think that's really up for debate just how good of a player he is. But I think recently he's also been on doing the shot calling as well, and we all know that in any game, if you're both the star performer as well as the person who's supposed to be like the top thinker, it dulls your own impact on the game a little bit.
What is Aroxes doing out there?
I think he lagged out. I
guess he didn't get out of the plane in time, right? That's gotta be. He's gotta be the last guy out of the plane. It's just like, what are we looking at? Where's Skyline taking us? Like, wait, what is this guy doing out here? Okay, so Aroxes is nothing, no loot. Obviously, last out of the plane, got dumped out somewhere for some reason. Okay. The Knights, obviously they didn't attend Katowice or StarLadder, so, which is a shame, because I think running up to that, they were probably one of the hottest teams online, certainly, I think, before those events hit. They did do pretty well last night in GLL, but the night before, obviously, was the reason they got relegated to Bravo, so they had a bad night on Tuesday, good night last night. It's going to be really interesting to see how these guys do, because prior to those 2 events, they were the team to watch, sort of for 2+ weeks before that.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate for their sake, because they were really strong for a month back in 2017, but then kind of fell off of that and became a little more of like a just above middle of the pack. maybe around like 6th, 7th, 8th best in the leagues that they were performing in, and I feel like because and they weren't able to qualify for these events because of that. And then right after the qualification, they started to come back and actually start to take over. And so a little unfortunate timing window for them in that sense. But I do expect them to continue because they weren't just good for maybe one game, one day. They were good for actually a couple of days and even like a number of weeks leading up to these events. So that doesn't sound like something that's going to easily fall off just because they had a couple of weeks break.
Yeah, it's definitely not something that's gone wrong off the wheels for them. Vex have had a name change as well. They are now One, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how do we call it One, because it's O1NE. It's like a weird name.
I think when they announced it, I think they also like tongue in cheek knew that we'd have trouble with it, and so they said it is also just pronounced One. So I believe they confirmed that. But they themselves have always been a team that's been very interesting because they've had moments that they've looked really good. But once again, another one of those teams that it's like they still just kind of need that little extra something. But they've been kind of on the short list of up and coming newer teams. And so we'll see if this decision to leave Vex, I don't exactly remember whose decision it was, whether it was the organization or the roster's decision. But we'll see if this decision ends up impacting them beneficially.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. Obviously, they had a roster change as well because who was it that went to Dignitas? It's not Larry, Miguez, Raz. It was I can't think. Wow, is Roxa's still not there? Oh my God, he's still swimming.
Yeah, this is not good for Vitality. I don't know where Shiv is either. I don't think he's in the server. He may not have made it in, so this is kind of some double trouble for him, right? For this squad right now in the first game. But let's talk about this first circle, actually, because we hadn't yet hit on it. It seemed like a lot of people are already making their way into it. I feel like a lot of people also started to loot around this area in this particular lobby. But there's a little bit of water in it, of course. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan. Like, I know a lot of commentators have been going on about the water, and it's like, oh no, a big water circle. But for me, I took the same angle that Scoom was taking. It's like, while you see a lot of water, I see a small amount of land. So I see action. I see this is great. This is perfect for us. Oh, wow, those two crates. They're two fat crates as well, sat in the wall. 2 ghillie suits, M24s. Oh, my word. They're just off the beach. It's doable, but nobody's going to get them. But what I see is, like, small amounts of land, small amounts of compounds. I mean, still, obviously, this is like a massive landmass. Circle 1's always absolutely huge.
Yeah.
But you know it's going to swing into land at the end of the day. It never finishes in the middle of the water. Probably like 1 in 1,000, I guess, which probably we'll get right now, just to spite me. But generally, I prefer it. I liked it. Obviously, if you have like that river channel, the Georgia Pole River channel, that's when you have the people in the water, the mermaids, as people like to call them. You know, it's a problem in the game, but it's a problem that everybody knows how to deal with and can learn to deal with. And let's face it, if there's a team that goes in the water, they're already admitting defeat. So I'm perfectly fine with that. I just like, okay, they're in the water. Let's ignore them. Let's move on. Let's look around elsewhere. So I think it's all right. I'm liking this. This is one of my favorite areas to finish, like the fields of Gatka, because you generally get some really entertaining games around there.
I'm gonna hard pass on that one. I think the Fields of Gatka are one of the most infuriating places to end on. Partly just because,
I like the Hills of Stauber. As well.
Yes, the Hills of Stauber I think are one of my favorite ones, and I like the area around Quarry. We're already seeing a little bit of action going on right now, just because I like having terrain to play around. But when you go into a big open field, that incredibly limits the options that a lot of teams can do. It has been a while since I've seen too many of them, and so I guess my anti-Gatka feel specifically bias did get sunk into my head a couple of months ago, and so if it does end it once again this time, we'll see if teams are able to fight around it in a more strategic way. But at least from what I recall, a lot of it has to do with running through open area and running through smokes, and that's obviously not something you really like to see.
No, exactly. I mean, I don't know. I like what is Mikas doing? Okay, that's one way to park your Dacia. Go across the roof. So do you think we could get some sort of car sponsorship from Dacia now and just like, look how versatile your vehicles are?
Your AC just flops over. All right. Well, they're keeping them safe.
So
That's
okay, that's one. I'm going to call them Vexed a bunch of time, but they're very close to Alliance. That's pretty much in the same complex, just across the way from them. I think there's a ridgeline. Yeah, the swamp isn't there? Yeah, that's it.
I don't know if one are aware that Alliance are here. Alliance definitely heard one roll up, but one. It's quite possible and quite probable that they came into this area blind. Sigsy here with the upper ground, watching to see if anyone peeks up over. He's grabbing some good information for his squad. Oh, that's a couple of good shots open.
Sigsy lights him up. Meanwhile, looks like Brexico has managed to down one of the Alliance phase guys as well, so they're also conflicting. That's going to be Mikaz going down. You can see Sigsy trying to line up through there, trying to get in some sort of lucky shots through the doors. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. Everybody will back away. So Mikaz being the sole man going down. So one player down for one. That's just going to really muck me up the whole time. One. I preferred Vexed.
Yeah, fair. But now that one definitely know that Alliance are there, it's going to be easier for them to keep themselves safe. This sounds like an obvious statement to be making, of course, but it is really big considering just moments ago, they had no clue that they were being surrounded. Sigsy, though, if he wanted to go aggressive on the high ground, he could do so, but there's no reason for Alliance to go super aggressive during the first circle. Like, the first circle hasn't even closed yet, so they don't want to commit too heavily onto it. Getting a kill, getting those points, damaging a team is more than enough right now.
Well, up in the hills, it's where the Knights like to be. It's a decent angle. They can get a lot of kills. They were smashing the kills yesterday. So it's something that they've sort of become renowned for effectively. Digital Chaos look like they're somewhat pinned. You can see damage on both Avian and Fausto. So they've already conflicted down in that complex. You can see FaZe. Wow, they're trying to transgress straight across. Where's Haxeti going to end up? Because I think I saw them losing their scout, which already puts them at a disadvantage. Once you lose that opening scout in the first circle rotation, that's such a problem for the rest of the team because, yeah, they have. Look, they've already lost one. So, okay. So, it looks like, I think it's Mexi that's gone down by the looks of it. Just got a quick glimpse there. Penta blasting by. So, it's going to be a little shit shack for them in the end of the day. That's where Hexeti's going to end up. The question is, are they going to all plumb there? It does look like they will.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good spot, but the scout's already gone. The area that looked like they were beelining towards, they heard gunshots from. But no, actually, they're going to pull out. They're going to find somewhere else. So they're not really getting to that. Able to spot that this ridge up here is open if you want to take this hillside, which is not a bad spot for the first circle. It allows them to gain information of the surrounding area. And, well, it's dead in the center, so they're actually in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, apologies for any of the lag you're seeing, guys. I'm getting quite a bit of lag from the feed. I don't really know what it is. We'll try and sort it out when the next game is underway. At the moment, we'll stick with it and try and see what is going on. Rogue, who had a very good day yesterday, actually. They've really sort of stepped it up. They had a really poor performance, in fairness, when they were in Katowice. They weren't happy with that, so clearly had a bit of work to do while everybody else was enjoying themselves over in Kiev. Meanwhile, I can see FS Espo. They're a team that have kind of started to come out of nowhere as well for me. FS Espo. They've sort of I say Espo. I'm sure you could just say East Poo. I don't know how you want to pronounce it, but they're a team that's definitely started to get better and better as the weeks have gone on.
Yeah, what are they? They're currently ranked 8th in Auzom Premier League, and this Premier League is the first time I can recall seeing them. And so the fact that they're already ranked 8th is doing a pretty good job for for basically being a new team, at least by my perception. Noxious and a nice couple of shots. Noxious actually, apparently, I just learned this, got combined, I believe, with, what was the other team? Blank, with the Q.
Yeah, there's been a few that like merged together, hasn't there, just over the last week or two?
Yeah, and so I think this is one of them. Yeah, throwing a couple of shots. Not too many casualties so far, which not really surprising. It's pretty much par for the course. But oh wait, this could be something different. Those cars driving by, Mr. laying out some couple of shots. Not too many of them landing though, and a nice ridge for these players to dive behind to continue their path away.
Mr. pushing up Crispia. These guys, Mr. obviously was with you in Kiev as a commentator. He's back to being player now. I think you prefer that style, just like Scoom was in Kiev.
Yeah, he said. Yeah, he said he definitely agrees with Scoom. That doing it was fun, but he misses the actual rush of competing.
So let's see where they're going to go. The circle updated. It has pulled away from the west coast. Still got a decent amount of water down Ferry Pier side, but it looks like a quarry finish, and that's something I like. I like the hills of Quarry.
Yes.
You can get some quite entertaining games around there. You can see Method with... Are they down to 2 Method already? I saw Stab and 80, but I couldn't see any Pyro anywhere there.
I think they did a 2-2 split. We saw Stab and 8C go around the area
Yeah.
that Noxious are right now, that compound just to their west. And so they may be sticking with that 2-2 split. A 2-2 split is something that we saw Team Liquid specifically utilize a lot in Kiev. And utilized correctly was one of the reasons why they're able to gain so much map control and able to take over the games that they did on the first 2 days. And so Method, see if they're inspired by that. The split that they were utilizing earlier was more of a circle control, like not so much a map control split, but a circle positioning split. And because of that, they're now just going to be grouping up together 2 and 2. This is going to be a hard path for them to drive up, but obviously taking a couple of shots. It's not, they're definitely going to want to get out of there and then group up. No one else is too around them at this moment in time, though, so they should be safe if they don't drive too close to Noxious and or Penta.
All right, thinking we may have found a solve for the lag issue. Maybe it was studio mode I was in. There we go. That may well have fixed it. Try going out of it. There we go. Looks like it does seem to have solved it. So, as I say, that it lags up for me. So, all right, we'll keep on going with this. We'll see exactly what's going on there. Penta. There's a team that have had a continual shift in numbers, really, haven't they, lately? Tomil, Ultra, Lux, and Sims in there. Obviously, Avenger was in there. Now he's in Big. He was in Theatre at Mayhem before that. He's trying to find his home right now. Brooder, well, of course, they've been in the news for different reasons, sadly for them, but they are a team, the Dutch boys, Zook, I'm going to attempt it, Zoekt and Nam, which I think is looking for a name, I believe it is in Dutch. I may be wrong with that.
I think so, too.
Yeah, so circle update. Okay, where's it going to swing? Quarry's still in there. The beach of Ferry Pier as well, which is decent complex in there that I think we're going to see a couple of people trying to fight for, maybe, down on that hillside. Other than that, we have a lot of hills and trees involved.
Yeah, and it's actually big hills too. It's not sharp bowl, like it's not like the hills that you're seeing on your screen right now, where it's a lot of stuff that you can play around and get close to each other. It's wide open hills, so we may see a lot of long, sharp shots at this time. And it's only going to mean that anyone who has a sniper rifle and who's a good shot with it has a good opportunity to gain a lot of map control. Right now, the Alliance in another fight with Noxious. Already getting a couple of downs onto them. Crispy are now in the process of having to heal up.
Oh, Meters found one. Okay, Alliance were in the swamp, remember. They've had to fight their way through. They've got themselves 4 kills already. A couple of those from 1. But Crispia has the advantage now on that hillside. But he's not going to see a great deal. That tree is blocking a large portion of his view. Look, he's going to get a glimpse of Meteor now coming around the side. He's going to see VZ in there. Gets himself 1 down. VZ's about to peek on through. Still can't see him. He gets down. The rest of his team now coming in. Kavorka getting Fever down as well on the side. Alliance are being picked apart.
How do you get that turnaround? He does get traded in the end by, I think, a different party. No, that was risk loss from them. All the way in the back, so a very nice flank utilized. Problem is, he's now have to make the long run to get to his teammates to res them. If you drop 60, though, it is going to be a team wipe. But I think Risk may be the only player left on his team, because making that run across that field to res his teammates is going to be a tall task for him.
Just having a look across, see where exactly he's going to try and run to. Trying to make the sprint behind them while they're all sat in the smokes. It's a heroic run if you can get out of it. And Alliance, if they can get VZ back up, maybe alright. But now they're going to see Risk now. Sigsy spots him. He's going to be stuck behind that shack. And it's really just open field from there. So he's going to have to peek it. Gets caught massively in the face by Risk. Sigsy. And that nade, well, that's going to be a smokes. I think, yeah, I was going to say, is he throwing a flash to him there? I didn't see. I think it looked like a smoke he just threw at him, actually. Probably doing him a favour. I think he wanted to throw the HE and had the wrong thing selected.
Possibly. But in case they have him cornered, the blue is coming in right on his back, so I don't expect him to be alive for too much longer. Looking at the other side of Axio. Runs out in time. The spread on UAZ. Doesn't get too much damage onto them. And back inside the shack. I don't know if anyone else from Vitality is left. I wasn't able to spot that. But Zentot does get dropped. I'm falling killed by Cup Magic now.
Alright, lag aside, we should be okay now. Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's been having a few problems. My feed is not liking me, so apologies for any of the stuttering that you are seeing. I know that you guys are seeing it as well as me. So, meter coming up. Apparently it's my end. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm not technical. I just talk games, boys. That's all we want to do. Alliance are going to see Lux on the top of the brow of this hill. Penta just over there. Tomil also there as well. They're going to try and pass on by. And this is the problem with Quarry. Like, while everybody, as soon as you get on the top of that hill, you're silhouetted so massively that everybody is drawn to you. It's basically the same as you'd play in Miramar every day. Unfortunately, you silhouette like crazy. And you're going to get spotted there. You can see Penta taking the shots onto them. Lux going to get around the side along with Tomil. And you can see in the distance, Andy Pyro sat there. But it's, of course, the Alliance boys that are having to go down low. Everybody else, Rogue, have got themselves in this one big complex. You can see Jazza in there already, giving his Irish commands. He offered to commentate with me yesterday, but pretty sure nobody would have understood a damn word he said. So we didn't go with that one. Only Andy and Chris left, so already 8C going down, along with Andy Pyro. Gets knocked in the end now. I thought he was going to get away from it. It's Jazza that takes him down somehow through the wall.
Yeah, a lot of shots coming in from their east side, from that compound that we just pointed out earlier. Ooh, Juho knows someone's just below him. Doesn't suspect that he's in the floor below, but now in the fight elsewhere, a lot of trades back and forth between DC and the Knights, it seems. TSM just got taken out in the meantime as well.
That was one nade, just took
Just
3 or 4
one
of
nade
them
to
out.
wipe 2 of them. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now the Knights, I think, okay, so they still have Voxic way in the distance. He wasn't part of that fight that happened, but everyone else got wiped by DC. DC, I think, are keeping themselves 4 strong. This is not a very good spot for Voxic. We were just amping them up a little bit, and, well, that just goes to show you what happens in Battlegrounds.
Yay, give them some love. We haven't seen Vitality either. They're coming in on the edge of the box. I don't know whether they've still got all 4 alive. Well, actually, they're missing Shiv, weren't they, at the start?
Yeah.
And they've already got 1 that's disconnected, so we'll see whether they're able to do anything. Exalt Gaming here on your screen, a team that have had mixed performances, I think, of late. They were certainly doing very well through a lot of the qualifiers, but then they kind of took a dip, maybe, which is to be expected. Obviously, you do have this lull of, oh, we didn't make it through the qualifiers, and then kind of everyone's morale kind of drops a little bit. Back from Zaki, I think we just saw Dave Crazy, the lone man standing for them, trying to make his way in. Vitality, there we go. Roxaze and Shadow. Has Roxaze got anything? All right, he's got a T3 helmet. He's picked that up along the run, so that's all right. But he's taking a lot of shots here, so he's already in trouble. Looks like Digital Chaos and FaZe from the distance. It's Fuzzface with that red dot picking him off through the hills, and he will manage to get the knock as well.
It's knock, yeah. This is the big. Obviously, running through a field is not a good situation, but it didn't look like Vitality able to gain any sort of map control for themselves, any sort of control anything. If they were running through, it means they didn't have a vehicle. And so it's probably just been a disaster of a first game so far. The real question is, are they going to be able to shake off this when it comes into the preceding game? Shadow now just trying to heal out in the distance, waiting for everyone to keep their attention off the blue and then continue the run on in. Because at this point, the blue, you can still survive it. It's difficult, but it's not a death sentence quite yet.
Buddha trying to peek. Exalt Gaming down the distance. He's lost his helmet. He's going to have to get the hell out of there. Trying to see if he's got a vest left either, actually. Looks like he's been really through the mill as he tries to push it around. He's not really got anywhere to go. His teammate up above him, you can see. Yes, he actually tier 3 vest tucked in there underneath that hoodie that he's got on. Meanwhile, Ultra. So Penta actually looking in a pretty good position at the moment with that hillside. Dave Crazy, he's got himself an a Groza, in his hand. So despite the fact he is the only man standing, he has no helm, but he has himself that laser accurate Groza, and you can see Chronix is moving towards him, and he's found the head, and that will be the end of him.
Yeah, never mind about all that one.
I was going to say, I could see Chris on the map there. So the lone standing man of Method have FC Espo directly above him. Don't know whether they realise they're quite in close proximity to one another. Alliance again lit up at the moment, but the circle has gone over to Rogue. They're holding this complex. It's a very good complex as well. It has decent walls surrounding it. So they're going to try and hold everyone off as much as they can. FaZe are going to move. You can see Digital Chaos on the move as well over the hillside. They will have a clear angle on FaZe just over the brow of this hill.
I think FaZe may have just gotten spotted out. And we're doing a due diligence, checking around everywhere. This is a very nice position for Digital Chaos to basically stop FaZe as well as continue to push up onto Rogue. Because you did point out those walls on that compound. Those walls, it's kind of a double-edged sword at points, though, because it can make it easier to actually get up to the compound. And that compound, it's a little easy to actually get onto the east side, but FaZe, he just spots DC.
Trying to land the shots.
Shots down.
Tap in. We'll get him down. So Avian down. Fausto and Ewan over the hill. They'd already lost one earlier on. I think Gustav down. Gustav's Lumbermill. I mean, he might be down, but he'd be in a different lobby, so it's not really going to help for him. Fuzzface on the push. This is the FaZe aggression we're used to seeing, right? They get that one knock, they just pile straight on you. Meteor, meanwhile, going down. That's on the other side of the quarry to Penta. Mexi gets in on towards Fausto. He's going to get around the side there. Dogs barking in the background. It's all great. Everything's kicking off here. That's how adventurous we are. It's actually, I think it's Kingdom Come Deliverance dog barking, not my dog, which is unusual.
Yeah, it was a little quiet in the background, but right now it's actually taking a couple of shots trying to go over the hill, and this is going to be bad for DC because they're about to get pinched between two separate squads. Yeah, we're trying to toss out a little bit of a smoke to create some diversion, but
Ewan's trying to back away, but he's going straight into one. Look, he got Larry, Niels, and off the side Raz. So while he's trying to back away from FaZe, he's getting pincered. They're getting completely pushed away. So they're trying to get into this little ridge line. You can see them all on the map there. And everybody literally living around the edge of Rogue. Rogue themselves taking shots. And Cup of Magic going down from Exalt there as FaZe continue to try and creep up on Digital Chaos. It's Ewan that's just over in the distance. But FaZe, they've got to be careful. If they go too aggressive over the brow of this hill, they're going to be spotted by one. So they're going to be trading with two teams then.
Well, it looks like DC have actually spotted out. So there's one coming from behind. And so FaZe, they can choose to either go into this and help out and help pincer a team, or just say, hey, they're fighting, let's just back away and try and get map control while they're in the middle of combat. Ewan was taken out. Arian dropping his smoke to try and get a res on that, and Jockeys is watching the angle, it seems. It looks like Rogue have spotted FaZe in their own turn now.
Oh yeah, here we go. An easy one there. Yokis will go down. So he's already took Niels down. So it's a bit of a trade back and forward between these two. That nade will finish him off. I think the blue zone probably would have done it anyway, but he's going to bounce it off. I thought he was going to bounce it off the tree, but it kind of went too far. We'll finish him off with the shots in the end. Now Ewan peeks around the tree, gets himself exposed. He's got Avian down in the ditch as well. Ewan taking so low, will get knocked in the end. Avian down in the smoke. Don't think he's going to be able to get away from this one. A couple of nades will finish him. The circle's shifted though, so Rogue have got to get out of that house. They have to move to the hillside as well. And now it's it looks like who was on the hillside? It was FC Eastbo, wasn't it? See if FC Eastbo that's on this complex, they're gonna have this ridgeline. See the ridgeline in the distance, but look who's coming up behind them. Penta are flushing them out at the moment, and Digger no helmet on the top there, along with 2-0.
Yeah, good push by Penta. They're a very aggressive team, and now they have FC completely trapped inside. I think it is just Digger left? No, I think there's one more player of FC that's still in that wizard tower that we saw earlier. Perhaps two. Yeah, Tuho Juho, he's still just chilling out here. But both remaining players of FC are isolated from each other and can't really help out. Because if Tuho Juho wants to jump out, that's just going to be X-Chris. He is slaying some shots onto Simsy. I don't think he's gonna land. I don't think he's landed too many of them though, and so Penta, they're able to push all four into that tower, be able to take that little bit of control of that corner of the map.
FaZe are going to push. Raz is there. You can see Raz is down low. He's spotted, and FaZe will clear him out. So that's one going down in 8th place as FaZe push around the circle. Now they've got to be careful. They're going to be jumping straight in towards LFO, who are around there. Still as a 4-stack. They have that hillside. Really a good spot for them, honestly. Probably the best spot of every team. You've got Zuktek Nam trying to push around. Bruda, he's got to go around the side. He's going to be looking towards these buildings. You can see Chris is still in there as Method as well. So they're still in the top 7. Method have managed to hang on in there as Rogue also push up on that ridgeline. If Bruda keeps on pushing this way, he's going to go straight in towards Rogue. And that's not where he wants to be.
Yeah, X-Chris, I don't think he's no, possibly spotted out. You can just see his head just barely onto the top of that smoke. Don't know exactly what he can see through that either, but he obviously doesn't want to fight. Wants to come in super late. Good on oh god, Zook and Nam to be holding that angle, holding that tower. I think they're the ones that may have gotten the drop onto Hojuho. But now they're gonna be continuing to run in through, assuming that everyone else has been flushed on the side. Spot out Rogue, all clustering into that corner. Wonder if they go for this crate or not.
I mean, where can they go, right? Because if they go left side, they're spotted by Penta. If they go right side, they're running straight into Rogue. Yeah, and there you go. Okay, so Rogue, Penta have flushed out FC Expo, so they're going to go down in 7th place. Here comes Chris. Method going to try and bust out the door. He's going to easily spot it. He will go down. It's Penta to pick up another kill there. They go down in 6th place as Zook and Nam look towards Penta. Now, a decent nade. Are they going to get in the vehicle? Are they trying to get in that UAZ? No, okay. Brenash is going to try and line up the shots instead. I did see FaZe also taking shots. They're collecting a lot of kills. They took a shot on LFO. They managed to down one of those guys up on the hillside. But now the circle's pushing. Now they're going to have to get going in 40 seconds. Rogue trying to push up around that hillside. They are getting caught out by FaZe as well. FaZe are doing work. Now they've got around the back of them. Mexi, the last man standing, as Hexeti goes down. And Ewan trying to push him.
Yeah, FaZe, they did a lot of work earlier, but they took a lot of casualties in the meantime, just down to 2, and now down to 1. Taking a lot of shots from across the way, though, because, as you can see, that high ground that they're on, able to be seen from Penta from across the way, as well as Nam a little bit, too. Just Mixie left, trying to snake it out. Not their resident snake, but I'm sure you do enough of a job at it, but LFO, they didn't have too much action coming their way from the game so far, and now they're taking a lot of casualties up against a little bit of resistance.
I'm interested to see what Penta have got, because I think they might have quite a few kills. Rogue have got this hillside, 4 of them alive, in a good position. This LFO guys, they're getting pushed from both sides. You can see Rogue taking the pot shots at them. Meanwhile, Brooders actually just took Ultra down. Hang on a minute. Penta just getting wiped out by Brooder and Brenash here. That is a big double team from behind. The Dutch boys come in and cause a lot of problems. Sims goes down, and Penta wiped out by the 2, so 4 on 2, and they go down.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good job of them to... They saw Rogue. They didn't push towards the right. They then just pushed up towards their left. I'm talking about Zook now, of course. And then the backstab onto Penta, who were in the middle of a fight, just was taking too many fights at once, it seemed. So a good pounce on them, and that's Penta only going out in 5th. 5th is still definitely a good position for them, but now this is Rogue's game to take over because they are 4 alive. They have half the server. Just take out Mixie. Top 3 already. There's only, what, 1 solo and then 2 duos. Oh, well... Broder trying to do some more work with the M249. Deals a little bit of damage. It's going to be a nade to follow up, see if they can get the drop.
Well, it's going to be close to Ewan, you know. That's going to bounce down. Ewan's making a run for it. He felt that was a bit too close to him, so he's going to get away from that one. LFO still up on that hillside, just the 1 member. And Zook Nam really doing a good job. And that FaZe going down in 4th place, right? That's FaZe in a nutshell, right? Even if they have a bad game, they still get top 4. Like top 4, top 5. They'll snake the way in. Like Yempty will just be sat in a bush somewhere randomly, right? That's how it seems to be for them. Rogue have got a really nice spread here. Obviously, we have just seen Zook Nam going massive there against Penta. But you got to feel with the spread that Rogue have, they have the better position, and more importantly, they have the one guy that's going to be closest to the circle. Zook Nam have to come back towards them.
Yeah, and just the heavy man advantage at this point, the heavy spread around, taking control of the entire map. Broder and Brenash, they've already done a lot of work this time, but if Dynamic does catch them out, if they're not aware of his position, basically, he could play spoiler for even an attempted Zook Nam upset here. So it's going to be really key that these 2 remaining players of Zook to figure out where the remaining snake is. Faffinzo has a nice thing on a Broder. Yeah, this is... Broder can't move too much. He's going to be taken out immediately.
I mean, that's the M249 peeking out. I think it's just a bit too big. Can't hide that thing. Big weapon. Got to peek around the side. So Foffins knows where 1 is, and he's thinking, okay, there's 4 of us alive. Okay, they managed to get the knock on the 1 guy. Bruder actually going down. Brenash was taken down. It was the 1 man from LFO that actually played spoiler against it all. Jazza will go, Ewan will go down, but Rogue will pick it up in the end there. So 7 kills for Rogue overall. 7 kills as well for Nam. We do see LFO going down in 3rd place with the 2 kills. FaZe in the end 4th place for them and the 7 kills as well. Look at Penta though, massive amount of kills for them overall. 12 kills and a 5th place. They were looking so good until they got ambushed from behind.
Yeah, having 12 kills in number 5 is pretty big. You don't often see that. Sometimes you'll see maybe 12 in 3rd, but in 5th place, you could tell that they were really on a roll, but that's what happens when you don't watch all your angles. We weren't on them, unfortunately, when that happened, so can't exactly say if it's a case of them tunnel visioning on one aspect or just maybe perhaps taking fights, being over aggressive with it when they didn't have the cover to properly take them. But nonetheless, a very good game by everyone in the server.
It looked like from the angle we saw just at the aftermath, they were pushing up on LFO behind. And obviously Nam had snuck in around the side behind them. So while they were engaging on LFO, I think they basically came in behind them and got them in a couple of easy kills. And if the 2 of you line up 2 shots, that's 2 down instantly, and you just get a 3rd if you just spray down or something, and then suddenly, boom, you've wiped the team out. And if he had an M249, right? So it was just easy spray down.
Yes, true.
So solid stuff. Right, I think what we're going to do is going to be switching stream over to Kevin's because I'm getting lag from the observer feed, so don't know what the hell it is. It did seem to sort itself out a little at the end there, but it was still pretty laggy. So something on my end is certainly not happy. It means we'll switch over. So the stream will probably drop down briefly and come straight back up. So don't worry, guys. Just get yourself F5 refreshed, and we'll be back for game number 2 in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few.